packed my hospital bag a day before I went into labor. Hello everyone, and today I'm going to be doing what I packed in my hospital bag. I know that when I was trying to get my hospital bag ready, I was looking up and down for what I should pack, what I shouldn't pack, what I should avoid, what I don't need, those kinds of things, because a lot of times you pack extra. So I hope I help out anybody who's kind of looking to figure out what they need to put in their hospital bag. So the first thing I want to mention is I packed my hospital bag a day before I went into labor. I would not recommend that. I got very lucky because literally the next day I grabbed my bag and go. I would say you want to have your hospital bag ready at around 36 weeks or before. I know a lot of people start getting it ready at like 30 weeks. I, however, was up in denial about my pregnancy until I literally had Wesleyan and she was laying on my chest. So I didn't start shopping for maternity clothes until later, like way later. My mom was doing online shopping for me. So I want to get this out there as soon as possible so I can help anybody who's kind of wondering. So the first thing that I would say is get everything travel size. All hygiene products travel size, so that when you're done you don't have to worry about taking them home, putting them in your bag along with all the paperwork, the baby, the car seat, everything, so you can just throw it away when you're done in the hospital. So I would just get one of these cheap toothbrushes that are like 89 cents at pretty much any store, so that when you're done with them you can literally just throw it away. The next thing I would suggest is floss, because whenever you I use this one because there's not a lot of supply in it, so it will last you how long you need to, and then you'll be done with it. Because I promise, whenever you're done with labor, say you haven't been able to eat in like a day, you are going to chow down on your first meal, especially if you're like me and had nausea and couldn't eat anything the whole 9 months. You're gonna want to finally eat whatever you want, and you're gonna eat a whole bunch of it because your stomach isn't all cramped up anymore. I would get lotion because you're gonna feel like really gross afterwards, and you're gonna want to take a shower because you know you've been in labor, you've been sweating, you've been pushing, like it's a whole lot of nastiness, like body stuff. So you're gonna feel really dry after the shower, especially if you're using the soap that the hospital provides you. And then travel size deodorant. I got this one because you can, what does it say? It's the one where it doesn't show up on black, because I brought dark clothes just because I feel like in lighter clothes you can see a lot more, and dark colors kind of hide everything that's going on with your body. Like spit up, breast milk, all that kind of stuff. Clothes wise was a huge problem for me, trying to figure out what to bring. So this is a big one for me to emphasize. The first thing that I would emphasize is if you are planning to breastfeed, I know a lot of people will do it in the hospital and then when they get home start using bottles. When you first deliver your baby, the only thing that comes is colostrum, which is just like this really thick, like honey kind of like nutrients. Your milk hasn't come in yet. But you're pretty engorged. So I recommend these tank tops. I got them I brought 2 of them, just in case anything got on the first one. I got it from Target. It's a little cami, so it has kind of, you know, if you're a girl, there's a little line to hold up your chest, but it has these clips so that you can pull it down for whenever you need to nurse. I would recommend these because those hospital gowns, whenever they don't have to examine you anymore, you're going to want to change into clothes as fast as you can, because those hospital gowns are very airy and it's a beating trying to button them up for when you need to nurse, and it's just a mess. So you're going to want to change. And then the other thing I got from Target was just these kind kind of pajama-like things. They're really easy. I would put my cami under this and then I would just put this on so I wasn't wearing like a bare tank top when people came to visit. But you can button it up for when people come, or it's really easy to button down for when you need to nurse. So if you have your cami or if you chose to bring a nursing bra instead of the nursing cami, I brought both. I just found that the cami was a lot more comfortable. It wasn't as restrictive. So this was like a huge thing. If I ever had a child again and I needed to go to the hospital, I would bring one of these. I bought 2 of them, one of these navies and one in the black, just because you're gonna want to change, especially if you take a shower or anything like that. And they come with these shorts. I loved these shorts. I got a large in them because, let's be honest, after you have a baby, you're not gonna go back and shrink back into your perfect size before you had a baby. Give yourself a break. I know it's frustrating. I'm still struggling with mine. Breastfeeding will help a lot. So if you choose to do that, those contractions you kind of feel afterwards while you're breastfeeding, they hurt, but they're shrinking your stomach back down. So just tough it out. But I love these shorts also. They come with the pajama set because they're really, really stretchy, and they're not, and they keep your pants up, but they're not super scrunched up and tight on your stomach because you're really sore. And then also they're obviously very loose. So even though they're not specifically maternity wise, they're basically like maternity ones. They're super soft on your stomach, they're not restrictive, and they're loose because you're sore and trying to get up out of bed and everything. The next thing that I packed in my hospital bag was Weslin's take-home outfit. This was her take-home outfit. She did not fit it because she was so tiny. It's newborn and it was still huge on her. And then I also brought a cute little bow for her, which she also did not, my mom untied it to see how it worked. So right now it did not look like this in the hospital, but obviously it did not fit her because her head was so small. She was only 6 pounds 8 ounces, so she was really tiny, especially her head. Right now we only have like 2 headbands that still fit her to this day. The second thing that, not the second, it's past second, but another thing that I would recommend is bringing a bobby pillow if you're planning to nurse. This is my bobby pillow that I use now to kind of go with the elephant theme that I have going on with Weslin in our room. But I would recommend getting an extra bobby pillow. I know they're really expensive. My mom had a very generous friend who had twins and she gave me both of them. So I had an extra one. But if you don't have an extra one, I would use an old cover. The covers should be pretty cheap to get because you just don't want to bring home all that hospitalness, all the germs and everything like that. So I would bring an extra cover so that you can use one in the hospital, and then when you get home you have a second one ready to go whenever you start nursing at home, and you can just kind of toss the other one to the side and wash it and kind of use it for an extra one if you your baby spits up on your pillow or anything like that. Another thing that I brought in my hospital bag was my makeup because I had an epidural. I knew I was gonna have an epidural, and I didn't want to look a hot mess because you're gonna want birth pictures. And so I put on makeup, just eyeliner, my eyebrows, and mascara, because that's pretty much the only thing I wear when I put on makeup, just so that in your pictures you don't look like a super hot mess. I mean, I know you're giving birth, but I just wanted to make sure that I didn't look back on my pictures and just be like, oh my gosh, my face. But if that's not something you want to do, that's just something I wanted to do because I had an epidural and I wasn't in constant pain. But if you're choosing to do natural, makeup probably is not on the table for you. The other thing I would bring is a phone charger. You're going to be there for a long time if your situation was like me. I was in labor for what you would consider labor for almost close to 24 hours, and so I definitely needed a phone charger because once my epidural got going and when they were trying to get my contractions started, my phone was dying because Joseph was asleep all night and I needed my phone to watch Netflix, something, especially because they come in and check you every 2 to 3 hours, so they wake you up. The other thing I would bring is lots of these. You're gonna lose them in the hospital because it's complete chaos in your hospital room. There's papers everywhere, there's people coming in and out, and you're gonna want your hair out of your face, especially if you're nursing. because, or you're doing skin to skin and stuff like that, you don't want your hair in your baby's face and anything like that. So I would bring a whole pack of these just so you have a bunch on standby. And one of the last things that I brought was my Birkenstocks, just because you're gonna want to start getting up out of your hospital bed, walking around, because you're in it for probably 3-4 days just sitting there, because you're letting your body heal and you're taking care of your baby and everything like that. So when you do need to get out of your bed to go to the bathroom, you don't want to spend time putting on socks and all this stuff, shoes with laces and everything. Just want to slip them on, walk to the bathroom, or walk up and down the hall. But for the hospital bed, I did bring a pair of socks. I bought 3 pairs so that if I wanted to throw them away, I could. Afterwards, you want to buy thicker socks because it can get cold in the hospital. It's tile usually, because it's easier to clean. So I would bring extra pairs of socks so you have something to sleep in, so that also your feet aren't like out in the open if you're self-conscious about your feet. I know I am. So when visitors came in, I wanted my feet covered. And then also whenever you're giving birth, if you want to have socks on so your feet isn't like in everybody's faces, I would bring a couple extra pairs of socks. And then one of the last things I brought was a super cheap pair of flip-flops. I don't know why I have these. Still, they're from like the 5th grade and they're from Justice, but I found these in my shoebox. So for the shower, because you're not going to want to step in there barefoot, especially because you're also going to be bleeding a lot. So you don't want any of that, like, you don't want to be standing in it or anything like that. And then also, if you have someone helping you, you don't want to slip or anything because your balance is off, because you've had this huge belly for 9 months, and so you don't want to slip or anything like that. And then I also brought my glasses. Those kind of stay on my face, but I didn't have them on a lot of the time. But bring a glasses case, anything like that. Then you also want to bring a take-home outfit for you for when you want to go home. I did not walk out in my pajamas. I brought maternity leggings because they're super stretchy and they're really comfortable, but they're not like sweatpants or anything to where they're airy. They kind of stick to your body. And then I brought a super oversized shirt so that my stomach was comfortable, because you're still going to be really sore and your body's still going to kind of be adjusting. And then I just wore my cami tank top underneath. And then you're going to want to bring a couple nursing pads. You shouldn't be leaking too much by that point because your milk hasn't come in if you're choosing to nurse. But you just want to bring an extra couple of those, because when you do nurse, it comes down on both sides. And obviously you don't have a baby on both sides at one time. So I would just bring a couple of those. So that is what I packed in my hospital bag and what I thought that anybody else would need or that I would need. It also depends on what your hospital provides. My hospital provided a lot of postpartum stuff. I didn't pack undergarments because, trust me, you will not be slipping into undergarments after you give birth. You're going to have on these huge, oversized, humongous underwear that are made of like wool cotton, and there's huge pads and everything like that. So you don't need to bring extra pairs of underwear, anything like that. I can do a postpartum questionnaire or a postpartum what they don't tell you kind of stuff. If that's what you guys want, just let me know down in the comments. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope I helped anybody or just kind of entertained anybody who was kind of wanting to know what to put in your hospital bag, or what if you wanted to know what I put in mine as a teen mom. Thank you everybody for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you next time with the next video.